Yeah.
Until they get there. And then they see really not a lot they can do. You know, you're one of 14 judges. Every judge up there has the same power. Well, while you may be assigned to write this case, and it's your case to write, and you're a review director, they get copies of your opinion, and you wait for them to vote on that, whether they're going to concur, or whether they're going to concur in the vote only, or whether they're going to consent. You can't speed them up, right? Your power is no greater than theirs. So if they're working on a caseload,
yeah,
can't demand that they vote on your case. They're not going to do it. As far as moving cases through, I'll tell you, their guidelines are like, what we want our judges to do is to render an opinion, hopefully within 60 to 90 days of the decision month. Okay. So in April, they'll get ready to send cases out for the May decision month, and they want your opinion within 60 to 90 days of when it gets in May. So you get your May cases, and they want them out in 60 to 90 days. They did a sampling of mine, and I was just under 78 days.
Okay.
So I fit within guidelines. And I was probably second or third rated as far as turning the cases out. In fact, when I left the Court of Appeals, they gave me a plaque recognizing my devoted service to the Court of Appeals. Basically, I think a lot of it was the fact that I moved cases through. And the other part, usually when you get defeated in any judicial position, most of the time the judge will just say, well, I'm done with it. I'm drawing this money to the state, and I'm not going to do anything. Well, when I lost my seat, of course that was in like November 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever it was.
Yeah. I
sent out emails to all the judges, the other 13 judges, said, everybody get on my cases, vote on everything you got, I'm going to clean up my cases. And I made a concerted effort to get every case I could out inside. Because I knew whatever judge come in behind me, of course I knew which judge was, it was Judge Lambert. When she come in behind me, there'd be a case that I'd reviewed and maybe done 80% of the work. Well, she'd have to go back and look at it and redo it to be able to, or at least review it, to be able to render an opinion. Well, there's no use in giving somebody that. Let's just go ahead and try to get it done and get it out of there. Get everybody's vote on it, get it through the system. I did it a little differently, and it's also respect for the litigant. Let's go ahead and get that decision out rather than roll over to the next judge.
Yeah.
And that's why you be able to review it, see what you want to do, and sign it and get it out.
I wouldn't take none of it personal. I feel like it's a campaign, so they're going to point out this issue and that issue, and whether it's a real good criticism or not, probably doesn't matter that much. I wonder though, as from a person that's been an appeals judge, you've been on the inside for 6 years. Are you a judge now currently, or are you just?
No, I'm a sitting circuit judge.
Okay, so
remember the governor appointed my opponent.
So as a former appeals judge, though, you've seen the process, and I feel like you can always improve. I'm a progressive, so I feel like you can always make things better. You can always improve. You can always make it more efficient. Like I'm in my house, I could clean up. I could do I could do a lot of different things, right? You can always make things better. So is there anything that you think that could make it more efficient? I thought, you were mentioning about how there's a group of people that it has to go to first, and then it goes to you, and then you're kind of at their, couldn't you hire more of those intermediate people? Is that a possibility? Or?
Well, see, they're all state employed.
Yeah.
And the only judge up there that he has to work within the budget, and amongst the judges, you elect the chief judge. Well, the chief judge is going to be the one that's got a lot of experience, and he's one that administers the Court of Appeals. But still, yet, he has his budget set by the chief justice. And as with any government job, there's going to be some red tape and guidelines. You're just going to be tied to it. That's just where you are.
Yeah, sure.
You can make a concerted effort to get your cases out, and I did. And back on my way out, that's what I did. I sent out emails that this get done, boys. go back to me. I'll get the opinions rendered. Rules, as I recall, I believe it's Rule 76 on the, and it reads, we did some things trying to tweak it to make it a little easier to appeal cases and to understand, basically because it kind of read like the instructions for an erector set that you would get at Christmas, and could be confusing to those that had not appealed cases before.
Yeah.
You know, it goes into the font. I mean, it gets down to like what font you'll use. Well, I mean, I'd say now you kind of chuckle about it, but now wait a minute, think about it.
I do laugh at that. You didn't have the right font. Get out of here.
Well, think about it. You're limited to so many pages in your brief, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't let you run on and on, so you're limited to 25 pages. Well, if you use a font at 7, right, you're going to have all these extra words in there.
And it's going to be so tiny, it's going to be so hard to read. I get the logic of it, but I also feel like compared to like a crime, you know, like a violent crime, oh, you didn't do your font right. I would hate to think that someone gets their case thrown out on a technicality. Just tell them that. Just, hey, you need to do this font, and then, you know, then they'll get it within the parameters. But
we did.
Yeah.
We send the brief back and say, you've got to change your font.
Yeah.
Something that was close, we didn't. But, I mean, many times we send a brief back and say, you're going to have citations to the record because we're sitting here with 6 banker boxes, and we can't look at your brief and go back through 6 boxes as to each point you make to figure out where that point is.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You as an attorney should know, or you as a litigant should know where it is in this record. You're telling us it's an error, so where is it? So we can look at it.
So I guess you're saying 6 boxes of, you know, bank evidence, that every piece of evidence has, you know, a name and number, so all you have to do really is just refer to the case number and then refer to, you know, the number of evidence, right, the label.
It's not just evidence, it'd be the court record. You may have all the pages filed in the court record and they fill 6 banker boxes. That'd be aside from the evidentiary, or now documentary evidence come in that way, but that'd be aside from, you know, if they had drug evidence or something such as that, that was not paper and documentary in nature.
Right.
You'd have so much, that's why you'd have to follow the rule, because we could spend 2 weeks going through 10 or 12 banker boxes trying to tie your brief together. Well, what about those other people that wanted their case through?
Sure.
You know, and you got down where you're doing 2 cases a month now. And we did have one judge, I remember he did a couple cases a month. He wrote a beautiful opinion. But wow, you know, if 2 people a month got their opinions out, I always looked at it, if I got 10 in that month, I tried to get 10, and if there's any extra, I get them out too. Because if you got 10 cases assigned to you that month, if you didn't get 10 out at the end of the month, then you're 1 case behind somewhere.
Right.
And sometimes that occurs because you may have something that's very technical in nature that requires a lot of thought and a lot of time. You'll have some that require less time.
Could you, I have no idea what I'm talking about here, but could you somehow put out like a little tiny opinion and then come back with a full opinion later?
No, you have the option of doing a memorandum opinion, and it's just like an opinion of the court, not assigned to anybody.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, what are you as a litigant going to think? Suppose you're appealing your case. It doesn't. If I just give you a petition for a hearing. Well, if you don't know fully what I decided and why, how are you going to know how to petition for a hearing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can get the whole case.
I guess I'm just thinking common sense wise, if there is, you know, you didn't know of the decision, but you could draw like the general parameters. It looks like this to me and that to me, but I don't. You're on the inside. I don't know what I'm talking about. So.
And you would do, if you did that, what would happen is then when you got really deep into it, it'd be like, oh, wow.
I was wrong.
I told one, and now it looks like you're going to lose. And the cynic is going to say, well, somebody's done something up there.
Yeah, sure.
They got out behind closed doors and decided I'm going to lose. And then that'd be terrible.
Yeah, no, it seems like it'd be best just to put it all out in one way. I just feel like there's got to be some way to, the 78 days, that's better than, most, but I feel like, God, opinion, how long does it take to form an opinion? I guess, and then another thing is you're kind of detached from the whole thing, so you didn't see the people, you didn't see their testimony, you didn't hear the tone, and you didn't, sort of pick up on all those other things.
Now, that's why you give discretion to the trial court. Because he did hear the testimony live, right?
Right.
Other expressions. He understood the tone of their voice. Whatever it was he heard, as well as defer to that jury verdict, to the extent that they decided the facts, because they're the ones that heard that testimony live. And probably your best way of moving cases to the Court of Appeal is more experience judges have, the faster it goes through.
There you go.
If you have somebody that doesn't have the experience, then they may spend on. And you remember when I was talking about how you read the statute and you say, well, it says this, but then if you didn't know the 20 or 30 cases behind it,
right,
you didn't really understand what it meant.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what also that works at the Court of Appeals, because if you look at an issue and say, oh, wow, this is just not right with statute. But if you know the statute and the case law behind it, you can look at it and say, well, the case law says it's going to be okay, so I'm not going to spend 2 days or 3 days looking at this issue because I know all those cases are behind it. And then you have the staff attorney, or you go ahead and go to the computer and pull up the cases and be done with it, because you know what's there.
Right.
Obviously, let me give it to you this way. Suppose you knew what was in those 400 and some volumes of books of Southwest Second.
Okay.
And you had a command of that knowledge so that you could bring it forth and apply it. Well, you'd be one of the fastest Court of Appeals judges there.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you have full command of all those cases. Well, then it goes to experience. You know, how much command you have in all these different areas. You know, I said circuit court, district court, civil, criminal, and as a district judge, I did what your family court judges do. I appointed the guardian ad litem, the defense and neglect abuse, the child support, emergency protective orders, child custody and visitation. So the more things that you do tend to put you in a position that you can quickly, more efficiently, and in a efficient manner, evaluate the situation and the issue and focus on the issue that could be typical for that case rather than spend your time on issues that you know aren't going anywhere because the case law is behind them. And the Supreme Court will be the one that decides the ultimate case law. So you're going to follow at the Court of Appeals what the Supreme Court did. Now, there may be times that we would split a decision and we'd have we would affirm and then we'd write a strong dissent and say the Supreme Court really would need to look at this because this issue needs to have their attention and they need to come up with a decision what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But really the best way is the more knowledge you got, the better command you have out of it, the broader the experience, the faster you're going to be. That's just what you are.
I see it both ways, though. You know, Hillary talked about her experience, but then Obama was Mr. Change. So I feel like, you know, you got the experience pretty much. Everybody's going to agree that you got more experience. So I think if you could work on that which you wanted to change, I think that would probably broaden your appeal.
Okay. Well, I'll give that some thought and I'll work on that. My daughter does real great at things like that. The least one I have at home is like, they're kind of spread out. One works at Quantico for FBI and does shooting reconstruction.
Wow.
And one's a pharmacist, and one works for the state auditor's office in our state capitol at Frankfurt.
Oh, nice.
The least one was able to lend her time to stay home with Dad for 2019 for the election.
Yeah, they're usually the youngest one's usually the favorite too. I don't know if that's the.
Well, she's kind of my roommate. She stays at home, watches the cats, tells me what all I need to do. I try to get out there, sets up all my appointments and my speakings and stuff. Try to balance it all out.
It's invaluable experience. I remember actually going door to door with the old man when he was running for magistrate, and that just going door to door, I think, is pretty powerful tactic because you talk to them face to face. They get to see you, you get to see them, and I felt like, he did really well when he asked everybody if he could put a yard sign. And even though they weren't all like endorsing him and voting for him, when you drove down that road and you saw his, name over and over again, the optics of it was, very efficient. It looked like everybody was supporting him, and he was, winning everybody over.
Well, that's true. That's true, and that is the best. One-on-one is the best political technique. Now, when you go to a county-wide race, of course, there's a little less time, and actually, as a circuit judge, I had 2 counties. They produced in excess of 30,000 votes in the judges' race. So if you're going to try to talk to everybody that got there and you can figure out who they were, you probably have to talk to in excess of 30,000 people. But when you get to the 27 counties,
yeah,
probably 100,000 people. So you better get a lot of door knocking. You better be quick at it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It probably wouldn't be. Maybe just a couple of them just to keep you humble, just to feel, them out as individuals. But 27 counties. I feel actually probably the county judge has more scrutiny, not the judge, the district judge. They would have, the local judge races would have more scrutiny than the appeals judges because that's just so far removed from, what the person... You know what I mean? Like it's more the local you could see clearly, whereas the statewide it's hard. I would think there'd be less scrutiny for. I feel like there's less scrutiny for the appeals judges, even though it's a more important and more powerful position.
Well, it is, and they give direction to your law and clarification of the law at the appellate level. But now your district probably gets more scrutiny because they have more contact with people, and fewer people go to circuit court. And still fewer go to the Court of Appeals. And
then also that's randomly decided too. So even though you're representing, from those 27 counties, what's the likelihood? What's the chances that you actually get their appealed cases? If it's randomly assigned, then that means you could get it, in any of the 7 districts. Your cases could come from anywhere in Kentucky. So it's not even direct.
And true. But now the thought behind that is that way district and culture in Kentucky, the culture of the 27 counties that I'm in, the culture of Jefferson County, which is its own district, and the culture of Fayette County, which contains Lexington, which is a large district and has like 7 counties. And it's kind of like each one has 2 Court of Appeals judges and 1 justice that represents them on the court system. Because if you just went to statewide race on it, then Jefferson County, 1 county, has more votes than any of the other 6 districts individually.
Wow.
So that's just control. Whoever got the votes out of Jefferson, and maybe if you had run over in the Fayette County, you'd be the one who won. All you judges would come out of Jefferson County.
No, I see the logic behind it, but I was just saying that you're more, I guess the district judges, you're more intimate, and it's more closer to you. You see them at ball games, and you see them there and here. But if you're appeals court judge, you'll vote for the best one, but you might not actually see that person with your appeals case. So I guess it's just.
Oh, absolutely. So to me, of course,